The problem is see, when you come late, if you're a Johnny come lately to a case. Okay, by the way, this is Joseph James DeAngelo Jr., the barbarian. Just another barbarian, right? Same. I don't even know. I think barbarian's actually
a kind word.
Yeah, it's like for this guy, it's even like a little. It's like generous, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a freaking monster. Look at that.
Yeah, literally.
I mean, just look into those eyes right there. Those are the same eyes that were staring into the eyes of each one of his rape victims and people he killed. I mean, he's a freaking nut job.
Total monster. Amazing that he got away with it for so long yet.
I'm hoping those scars on his head, like you were saying earlier, are like the cops getting in a couple licks. You know what I'm saying?
It definitely looks like he has some injuries to me.
Yeah.
Like on the top of his head, like it looks swollen.
Man, that'd be sweet if that was actually that whole big bump right there is actually a knot on his head. God, that'd be great.
Maybe he headbutted the police car.
I mean, the thing is like everyone's going to go for the death penalty and all that stuff. The thing is by the time, it takes like 20 years.
Yeah.
So what they should probably do is just, and when you're on death row, you're sort of isolated. You have your own little. So I think if they were really going to do something good, they should put him in general population in a prison and just kind of say, yeah, this is the guy that raped all those little kids and. Yeah, they're like 14
it's
or
like,
15.
how do they try him in all those different counties? Because they're going to have to go from county to county to county.
Well, it'd be prison justice, though, if you put him in general population and let them know that, hey, yeah, this is a guy that raped 48 people. Some of them were or more, whatever the number is, 50. See, some people say 45, and then there's 50. It's like. You know what I mean?
I think it's closer to 50 to 52, something like that.
But even today they said 45 at the news press conference.
Oh, maybe they're talking about the Sacramento area. I don't know. Because he went down to, Fremont, San Jose, Castro Valley.
Why don't you fill them in on the stuff from today?
Okay. Well, some background.
Yeah, you could do that.
Okay. My friend Alina, who has an Ancestry.com membership, did some looking into it for me. His mother, her maiden name was Kathleen Louise DeGroat. That's Degroat. And Joseph Jr., I guess we could call him. He was born in 1945 in Bath, New York.
No, that's
and his father.
I could put these up as notes, I guess. But it's too small; they can't see it.
Okay, his father, Joseph James DeAngelo Sr. There's not really anything that we could find so far about him, other than he was in Korea in 1970. So maybe he was stationed in the military or Navy. I don't know.
Yeah, one thing about this is he's literally, it's all the estimates, even the people that were raped were always saying he was like 24 or less, but he was like he was about
or even
32.
18 to 20.
Right, that's what you were saying. But yeah, he was he was like 32 years old. So he looked like he had a boyish face, so he looked younger, he was thinner, that kind of thing.
Well, also, you hear those phone calls he makes, it sounds like made to the victims and also to the cops. It sounds like he's disguising his voice to sound younger. And that's really the kind of voice he had.
Okay, so what year did he join the Exeter Police Department? What year was that?
That was in 1973.
Okay, so in 1973 he was there. Exeter. So look, there's no rapes or anything around Exeter. Nothing associated with him. Maybe they should need to go back.
I haven't looked yet at that because Exeter is kind of far away from Sacramento.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is all they have to do. I mean, maybe there's some. They need to look at this area a little bit
Yeah,
more
I think we need
now.
to look at that area.
Okay, but then in
I think,
1976 he got a job up here in Auburn. Place
yeah,
the
so he
family.
was 73 through 76 in Exeter, and then must have got a job
Right.
in
And then
76
if you
in
notice,
Auburn.
that's close. He's only 15 miles now from
Yeah.
this huge number of rapes. Now, the thing is, when I was looking at the one website that I have addresses from, there's these different addresses here that he lived at. And then look at where all the rapes are that he was doing. I mean, they're right there. Like he literally, the little concentric circle thing wouldn't work.
So Folsom Senior High School, he went to a 61 to 63, graduated, got his GED in 64.
Yeah.
Where is Folsom?
Yeah, it's right next. I already mapped the high school out. Yeah, see that right here where it's not really that far. I mean, there's even a couple rapes that are just like right there.
So that was in the early 60s.
So
And
it's
then
about 2.5 miles from those rapes there. I don't know what his house, do we actually have his address when he was young?
when you look, there's several addresses, and they're really hard to pinpoint, or they can be vague. Like the time when he was at certain addresses.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a couple from Roseville, Citrus Heights, but I haven't really seen any for him for Southern Cal.
What's going on, Justin? You got this case all figured out? You've been following it?
I watched a lot of documentaries about it back in the day, but I couldn't really remember it until all this stuff started happening today.
I don't know if they really have they had documentaries on this one. I don't remember. They've done some recently.
Well, not documentaries, but YouTube stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just crazy that they finally got him. I mean,
yeah,
he's active for what, 20 years or something. I know he stopped
40,
in the 80s.
40, yeah, almost 30 years.
Found a couple of interesting things. May possibly. I don't know if it has anything to do with why he stopped, but they seem to, the last two murders seem to time with when two of his children were born.
Yeah, so you're saying May 4th, 1986, and then when was
so 1981.
Oh yeah, 1981. When was the first child born?
The first child was born in, I think, 1981. Yeah. And
like in August, what month was it?
Okay, let me look real quick.
Because we've got this.
The first child, Misha Louise DeAngelo, born September 1981 in Sacramento. And
okay.
The murder in 81, I believe, was in July.
See, it's weird that he had a 5-year period, then all of a sudden he does one more murder, and then he's like, okay, I'm done.
Oh, 81. Yeah, July 81, he murders in Southern Cal. That's his last murder for 5 years, and that was July 81. His daughter was born in September 81.
Okay, now what do you think the 86 is about?
And then in 86, so after 5 years, he murders again in May of 86, and his second daughter was born in November of 86, so 6 months later.
Oh, so he probably was like, okay, I got to get one more in.
I don't know. I just thought it was kind of weird.
Well, it is weird. So the first one was, what year? It was November, you said?
First one, July 81 was his last murder.
Right, but when was the birth
before
date?
He stopped for 5 years.
I just want the
his
birth
daughter
dates.
was born 2 months later.
Okay, September is what you said, right?
September was when his first daughter was born.
And then the second daughter, when was that daughter born?
The second daughter was born in November of 86, 6 months after his last murder.
Yeah, so both times his wife's pregnant.
Yeah. Both of the last two. So, I don't know if that has anything to do with the big gap. He suddenly decides, okay, I'm having kids, so I'm going to stop murdering. I don't know. And then, like you say, oh, okay, you know, I can get one more in. 6 months before my second daughter is born. And she was born, the second daughter, in Los Angeles, by the way.
So he had 2 daughters?
He has 3.
3?
Yeah, the third daughter was born in 89.
Man, how would you like to be one of those daughters?
You wonder what it was like.
Maybe he grew some empathy for women then. I don't know. That's
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have daughters now, so, you know, I don't know.
Congrats.
Yeah, that is sort of, earlier when you were saying, I was thinking maybe, you know, it's possible after he had his first child that he went, wow, God, if I lost this child. And he was sort of thinking like that. But then, I don't know, because then he killed again. You know, he was killing at that time. He wasn't just raping people; he was murdering. See, he had raped people all the way up until 79. You know, late, like July 79, and then in October 79, down in Southern California, right after. See, that's what's kind of interesting is he got fired.
In August.
In August of 79, right? So he'd done all these rapes up in Sacramento, San Jose, you know, that up in that area. Then he gets fired, and then he starts murdering, and everything's down in Southern California.
Yeah. So did he move there, or did he stay in Sacramento and just travel around? That's because I haven't been able to find anything other than.
What I was going to look for was like, how did he make more mistakes after he got fired? Or was that why he was killing people? Because when he was working, he knew the inside information. Like, you could just...
Yeah.
See, the thing is that out of all the theories earlier, when I was watching, the only one that made the most sense to me was that he was a cop or had some connection to law enforcement. That one made the most sense because he was never being caught, and he always seemed to be one step ahead. Well, all you'd have to do is, so if you open up this, what it looked like, I remember looking at this, and, you know, he would rape, let's say he did these, he'd like rape here and here, then the cops would come in this area, then he'd go over here and rape a couple. This isn't really the right order, I'm just saying, but this is, so he'd rape somebody over here, and maybe over here, and then the cops would be over here, then he'd go back here again. So you're looking at, like, this is his first victim, and then 3, 6, you know, 8, 15. So, like, where, you know, like 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 are somewhere else, right? So why did he come back here? It's because after he was here, he saw, okay, the police are there, then he goes somewhere else, then the police all merge over there, start doing routes and stuff. Then he goes back over here because why would they be looking at the same neighborhood again? You know, I mean, he just totally had them all confused, and the only person that would know that would be somebody who had inside information. And then also...
Well, also
yeah.
I was going to say also that kind of makes sense too, since, like, you kind of sit in a neighborhood, so I'm guessing you probably, like, case the people a little bit, you know, and was just watching through this neighborhood, so not only is he just, like, picking one target, he's watching, you know, a lot of people, so it makes sense that, like, you know, keep coming back to the same neighborhood because he's probably kind of more familiar with the residents there, you know?
Where did he get the time? I just can't get that.
Yeah, but he was all over the place, so, I mean, look, so this whole, I don't know if you can see this, but all that yellow, these are all different spots in this area.
Yeah, true.
But like, I mean, he does have clusters though. Like, you know, like that's a little neighborhood there, and then here's 3 of them there, and you know, if
you wonder if he stalked when he was actually working. I don't know.
Could be.
I mean, that wouldn't be his area though, because he worked in Auburn.
Right.
Yeah, and also the. You know, when you hear about the town hall, right? So you got this guy who stands up and tells everybody. I don't know how many of you are aware of this out there. I mean, I know it is, but like when they had when he was raping everybody in Sacramento and everything, they had town halls, or at least I don't know how many they had, but in one of the town halls, somebody stood up. A man stood up and said, well, if he raped my wife or something, I'll be right there and I'll be able to take care of it, man. We just need tougher, whatever the hell he was saying.
He
right?
couldn't understand how this guy was overpowering.
Right, yeah. Well, however it was worded. But then the crazy part is that exact guy was raped. I mean, not him, but his wife, like in front of him. No, I mean, his wife was raped. God. His wife was raped.
Right.
Yeah, like he went to that person's house
wow.
and raped him, had him all tied up. I think he probably was one of the ones with the plates on his back. He made people put plates on their back, so if they moved, it would shatter. And then, like, he'd come in and do something. He threatened to kill him if the plates fell off. But see, right there, think about that for a second, that whole thing. So the fact that he knew that, here's what I think happened. He was a police officer. He might have been even the ones in plain clothes, because remember they said that there were some that were in the crowd to sort of see if they could see who it was, because they thought maybe the killer would show up. But let's say this. So after that guy said that, he's like, shit. So he goes out and follows the guy to his car, gets his license plate number, and then he's a cop. He can just look it up, and boom, he's got the address. Because how else, like, let's just say he was just a random guy there. What is he going to do? Get in his car and follow him home? I mean, that's just sort of weird, right? It's so easy to do that, though. He's an officer. Look it up. Boom. And I guarantee you that's what he did. He just went out.
Yeah, because he waited a couple of 3 months after that.
Yeah. And so he probably just wrote it down, jotted it down, and then he went and did it.
He's like, I'll show you.
But it's so crazy, though, that I mean, that incident alone should have been a trigger, something to law enforcement. It's a little bit weird that they didn't pick up on this guy.
Like a message.
They should have.
Clear message right there.
Well, the thing is, look at this one. See, I was going to open this up. Right. So when he was a police officer, all the way up until, when was that, August, you said?
Yeah, they fired him in
79.
August. 79.
Yeah, so here, listen. It says Joseph DeAngelo, the Auburn policeman accused of shoplifting a can of dog repellent and a hammer. This is an old article, like when it happened, right? Hammer at a Sacramento drugstore last month was fired this week. Auburn city manager Jack, so it goes through. He was actually fired from there. And it seems like 2 and 2 could have easily been put together, because you've got all these rapes happening, and then this guy gets fired for having this crazy repellent and a hammer he was trying to pick up, and then all of a sudden the location changed all the way down to Southern California and murders, but they already knew it was the same. Well, they didn't know. How long did it take before they figured out that they were connected?
They,
took a
DNA,
while.
I think it was in
like
2001. They linked it.
Oh, really? So, okay. Well, even then, they all stopped.
But
they could have even went, oh, look at it, all stopped. So, geez. Like, what? Yeah. I mean, I think they thought that it could have been law enforcement back then, right? Mm-hmm. So why didn't they catch this guy?
Because he was aware of certain things happening, within law enforcement.
Yeah, this just seems like such a... I mean, look how... Man, you go, who got fired? Okay, when did those murders stop? Okay, great. Who, if they were an officer, they would have lost the intel they needed. Mm-hmm. So who was fired anywhere near that time? Then you look them up and you go, wow, look at that.
I guess they weren't talking to each other, the different police departments,
Yeah, that's a big problem. A lot of police departments have is they don't communicate to each other that much sometimes.
But it would just be that local one, though. I mean, the Auburn one. Why would they be talking to?
It's not that far away. You'd think they would communicate.
Yeah, he was employed by Exeter, California, and Auburn.
Right.
Auburn.
Yeah.
From 73 to 76, he was in Exeter, California. Right. And then 76 to 79, he was in Auburn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Exeter and Auburn are kind of far apart. I think his mother moved to Exeter with her second husband. That might be why he was there. Because she got married to him in Tulare County, I think. But a couple of interesting things to note about this guy is he did go to Vietnam. He enlisted in the Navy in '64, soon after he graduated from high school.
Yeah.
Like 3 months later. And then he served in December, or he completed his training in December, and he served 22 months in Vietnam, returning in '67. And then he went to Sierra College and he got an Associate of Arts degree in Police Science.
Yeah.
And then after that, he went to Cal State of Sacramento and he got a bachelor's in criminal justice, specializing in criminal law. And that's when he became, that was in 1970. And then he became engaged to Bonnie Jean Colwell in 1970.
Yeah, and isn't there's a report that he was saying something about Bonnie, right? Like,
Bonnie Jean Colwell.
No, I know, but he was...
Oh, yeah.
Like at one of the rapes. You know which one that was? Okay, well, Alina Squeak just said it was Attack 36, so let me go look at... I've got that link set up here. Hey, Alina, what... Oh, the 7/6... You did put it there. 7/6/1978. Let me just make sure that that's what this one said. Victim... Let's see, blah, blah. Assailant ordered her to roll over on her stomach. Then he tied her hands and feet. He told her to do exactly what he wanted. He knew her 2 boys were in the house. I'm not going to hurt you, he said. All I want is money and food for my van. He blindfolded her. In typical fashion, assailant rummaged about the house. When he returned, he took victim out of the living room. He put her on the floor and saddled her. He sat on her back and put his... I'll just say penis in her bound hands. You know what this is? He repeatedly warned her that if she made a noise, I'll blow your effing head off. He stated this several times and always sounded angry, speaking through clenched teeth. See, that's what he always did too. Like, hey, almost like the Clint Eastwood, when he got his teeth and he said, make my day, that bullshit like that.
Yeah. Or like a whispering clenched teeth.
Yeah, so he raped her, sodomized her. Let's see. Let me see if the word Bonnie even shows up on this page. Oh, yeah, it does. Wow, look at that. As another... See, that's what's so weird is all these web sleuthers, and you have these articles, you'd think somebody would have...
Put 2 and 2 together?
Yeah, because it's not really that big of a hindsight thing. This is just classic... look, it says... As in other cases, the victim could hear the rapist sobbing afterward and saying, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. Instead of, I hate you, mommy, there is some question about the name he used. Victim thought he said Bonnie. See, the cop actually, you know what sucks about this one? Is the victim was absolutely sure that she heard Bonnie, but the officer says, I think he was saying mommy. You just heard it wrong because you were being... And so that might have led him away from that investigative thread. God, that sucks. People actually hear what they're hearing, okay? Believe it or not. Man, that sucks. Yep. Look at that. I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, instead of I hate you, mommy. So apparently he says, I hate you, mommy, in other instances. There is some question about the name he used. Victim thought he said Bonnie.
Well, maybe he was saying Bonnie all along.
Bonnie, yeah, right, exactly. But maybe Bonnie doesn't sound like mommy.
But if he's doing it with in the kitchen with clenched teeth, or something.
Yeah, maybe. Huh, that's crazy.
Should I find the calls that he made to the cops and to that one victim? Do you want to play that?
Yeah, I can probably just type. It's pretty easy. Find that. Okay, this one has all 3, so let's just do the...
Yes, Gray there? Is Gray there?
Gray? Are you saying Gray?
Gray there?
I knew you were connected.
Oh my God! Yes, right behind, right after I was the security guard at the hotel. Oh my God, the security guard!
All coming together.
This is 78, I think, this one.
To the victim, one victim.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? So somebody actually figured out what the show was on in the background. Remember that?
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
Oh,
All that
yeah.
effort
I heard about that.
all the effort to put in to figure that out.
Well, they didn't know if it was actually someone just talking in the background, but then they figured out that it was a movie in the background.
Yeah.
Police Department, Sheriff speaking. You're never gonna catch me, East Area Rapist, you dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful.
And so he said he was going to do it again tonight, right?
See, let's listen to this again, but knowing that he was a police officer. So keep
Yeah.
that in your mind when you're listening to it.
Police Department, Sheriff speaking. You're never gonna catch me, East Area Rapist, you dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful.
See, it's weird that he would say, I would again deny it. So did they already question him once? See, I think when this whole investigation's done, there's going to be some stuff that sucks to know how it happened, like what was going on.
Head rolling kind of stuff.
Yeah, like the investigations, like, wow, so you actually talked to this guy and then he didn't do any follow-up? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting to come if it comes out if they did interview him ever.
Well, and especially since, like, with those phone calls, you think somebody he worked with maybe would have recognized his voice? I mean, I get it, like, he's kind of disguising it, but, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and also some women that were victims had mentioned how he, seemed to have this high-pitched voice at times, and that's,
Yeah.
they maybe thought that when he was using the clenched teeth whispering thing was to disguise his high-pitched voice.
Well, let's play this one.
Breather?
This is what he sounds like.
Yes, breather? Yes,
Right.
breather?
Because there's no disguising in that one. That's just sort of
Because he didn't know he was being taped.
right.
Yes, breather? Yes, breather?
So they're absolutely sure that's him now, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
how did they know that? Did he?
I don't know.
Huh. This clip is from the Sacramento area called placed in late 1977 by an unknown male claiming to be the East Area Rapist. Investigators had intended to share this audio file along with other new evidence published by Los Angeles Magazine last month, but delayed its release so they could clean up and enhance the sound. Investigators would like to identify the man on this tape and believe that his voice sounds similar to the "Is Ray there" caller below. Comment.
Police Department, Sheriff speaking. You're never gonna catch me, East Area Rapist, you dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful.
But the way it says "be careful" has a
Yeah,
different.
he says I'm gonna F again tonight. Is that what he's saying?
Well, I don't know if he says that, but
That's what it sounds like to me.
Area Rapist, you dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful.
no, deny it. Deny it. You see, he's saying I'm gonna something. He says I'm gonna effing again deny it. Watch.
East Area Rapist, you dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful.
That's what I hear, anyways.
Deny it?
He says
I
I'm
thought
gonna,
he was saying I'm gonna F again tonight, be careful.
Area Rapist, you dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful.
No, I don't. There's too many syllables going on in there.
Okay.
'Cause
It's
if
one
you-
of those
Because
blue
if you
truck-
said, well, it's not. No, it's not going to be the blue truck one. This one I've already.
You can go both ways. I can hear a effing tonight, and then
Well, I can't
I'm gonna
because there's too many
F again
syllables.
tonight.
That's what I heard. I'm gonna F again tonight.
I'm gonna fuck again tonight. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. You're never gonna catch me, East Area Rapist, you dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful.
Deny it. I mean, where's the night? You know.
F again
tonight it?
tonight.
Tonight it?
Camel, be careful.
That would be weird to say tonight it. You know.
No, tonight.
Yeah,
like
but,
he's telling them
but
he's
there's
gonna do
another
it again
syllable there.
tonight.
You can hear another syllable there.
I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful.
See, deny it. It doesn't say tonight. If it said tonight, it just doesn't make sense at all.
Oh, I see people in the comments hearing what I'm hearing too.
Well, of course they're going to say that because it sounds more nefarious. You know, if you say deny it, it doesn't sound like that.
Well, it makes sense to say.
Again tonight. Be careful.
Well, what is deny? How does deny come into the?
Well, like maybe they questioned him already once.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You're never gonna catch me, East Area Rapist, you dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to. Maybe that's one of those ones you have to slow down. Maybe it is Blue Truck.
East Area Rapist, you dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful.
I guess if you're saying quick, it's kind of like not the best audio.
East Area Rapist, you dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful.
I don't know. I'm going to F again.
Again tonight, deny it.
Yeah, it's hard to know for
I say
sure.
I'm going
That's
to
what I
F
heard the
again,
first
deny
time. Like he was saying, "I'm gonna do it again tonight. Be careful."
East Area Rapist, you dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful.
Yeah, well, like the Truth Sleuth said, he said, I'm going to F again, deny it. Which is a little different. I mean, let's see. Because that's exactly when like, read what she just said. F again, deny it, and listen to it. Watch.
You dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful.
Again, deny it. Yeah.
Oh, like he talked to them and I'm gonna deny it again. Be careful.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to deny it again. Like it almost sounds like, that's what I mean, like they questioned him
Rapist,
before.
you dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful.
I'm gonna effing again deny it. If you know, so be careful.
That's a really good point. If he's saying that he's gonna deny it again, does that mean he's already been questioned about this before? You know?
Well, that'll
Yeah.
come out, I'm sure.
Yeah, so he says,
Right.
listen, you dumb, because he's calling him dumb for a reason. That means they've already probably talked to him. And if you come after me again, I'm going to deny it again. You see what I'm saying? So let's just play that again.
You're never gonna catch me, East Area Rapist, you dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful.
Okay.
Like he's telling them to back off.
East Area Rapist, you. You're never gonna catch me.
You're never going to catch me.
East Area Rapist, you dumb fuckers. I'm gonna.
East Area Rapist, you dumb effers, right? So he's saying, you're dumb, right? Because, and then he right after that, so let's get to that part.
You dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight.
Yeah, and then he's like, I'm going to effing, it's hard to say this over and over again without saying the word, but, you know, I'm just.
I feel like you're triggering me to say that for sure.
yeah. Effing deny it. You know, I mean, it could be saying that. What day did they release this? What if he did go out and have it do a rape that night?
Or is there a
Fuckers, I'm gonna
transcript
fuck
somewhere?
You're never gonna catch me, East Area Rapist. You dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful.
Okay, everybody, this is Gray Hughes. This is the next day. I'm going to be analyzing it on my own right here. Okay, right now, I am leaning more towards what Ada was saying, that it says tonight, but the only thing that still bothers me is the inflection of it. Okay, so let's listen to the original right now. Okay, let me put you on full screen here.
Police Department sheriff speaking. You're never gonna catch me, East Area Rapist. You dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful.
See, now I am going to say the swear words because it's just so much easier to convey what you're saying, okay? So it sounds to me like he said, you're never going to catch me, East Area Rapist, you dumb fuckers. I'm going to fuck again tonight. Be careful. Okay, so he could be saying that, right? I mean, I actually recorded myself saying it, so here you go right here, listen. You're never going to catch me, East Area Rapist, you dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful. Okay, now the next one is the other version. Look how similar it sounds. You're never gonna catch me, East Area Rapist, you dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fucking again deny it. Be careful. Right? So like in that case, he's saying, I'm gonna deny it again if you accuse me. As if he'd already been questioned before. And now listen to it again. I'll just start it right at the portion where he's speaking.
You're never gonna catch me, East Area Rapist, you dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful.
Okay, now the only problem I have right now is there's nothing is after the when he says fuck again tonight. He doesn't say fucking, fucking again deny it. He just says fuck again deny it. So it makes it seem more like he's saying fuck again tonight. I don't want to have to keep saying these words over and over again, but it's really the only way to explain it. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to only cut out his audio portion right there. And then I'm going to make another clip. So it's right here. So this is just his audio. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the speed. All right, so it's actually slower. So I'm going to make it, instead of 6 seconds, it's going to be 9 seconds. So it's literally 50% slower. All right, so this is what it would sound like if I didn't apply another filter. Listen. Okay, now I'm going to amplify this area right here because for some reason it's quieter. So I'm going to go amplify and then make it, maybe like 3 decibels. Now it looks pretty similar to the rest of it. Okay, now I'm going to change the pitch. Okay, now the pitch is what makes it sound deeper or higher. And we need it to get higher because once you slow something down, you get the "I was coming," and then when you go really fast, it sounds like the Chipmunks. Okay, so I think I've already set it so it's working pretty good. Let me hear. Let's see. Okay, I need to do that a little bit more than that. So I'm going to change the pitch again and maybe go up to there. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay, so I think we're pretty close. Let me maybe make that a little bit more. Just slightly, like right there maybe. Let's see. Okay, I think this is pretty close to the correct pitch here. Now let's listen to it again. This is 50% slower, and you can make out more. So at the beginning he says, "You're never going to catch me." Okay, so "you're never going to catch me." And then right here he says, "East Area Rapist." Okay, so he says, "East Area Rapist, you dumb fuckers." Watch.
East Area Rapist, you dumb fuckers.
Okay, so we already have that. That's clear. Now we're getting to the point where it says, "I'm gonna fuck again tonight," or see, he says tonight like that, where it almost sounds like more syllables. So tonight. You see what I'm saying? So it sounds like deny it tonight. You see how similar that sounds? Deny it tonight. Okay. Now if you went deny it or in tonight, no, but people don't talk like that. They say tonight, deny it. See, if you say it like that, it's very similar sounding. So listen to it again. Here we go.
I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful.
Okay, I'm gonna fuck it. I'm gonna fuck. He doesn't say anything after the fuck word though. Watch.
I'm gonna fuck again tonight. I'm gonna fuck again tonight.
So what I hear is, "I'm gonna fuck again, deny it." See, and that doesn't make sense grammatically. I'm gonna fuck again, deny it. So then if you change it to tonight, "I'm gonna fuck again tonight, be careful," that makes sense, like Ada was saying. So I would give it more leaning towards that. And when you play it slower, it actually sounds more like tonight. Listen.
I'm gonna fuck again tonight.
But it's like somebody saying tonight. You see, tonight. So it's you're almost putting 3 syllables into a 2-syllable word by having that little tonight, you see. All right, so I'm going to play the whole thing again.
Never catch me, East Area Rapist, you dumb fuckers. I'm gonna fuck again tonight. Be careful.
Okay, well, there you have it. I just thought I'd put in a better explanation of the audio. I'm leaning more towards what Ada was saying during the live broadcast. All right, so back to the video.
So it's either deny it again or do it again.
Almost like he's been questioned before, but he's denying it.
But then wouldn't that bring to their attention that they've already questioned him?
Yeah, but maybe they just could never get anything on him because, you know, there's no DNA or anything back then, and he was really probably careful about everything.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I maybe had some buddies there too, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see that one photo of him with the cop uniform on? He had a mustache.
I don't know if I saw that one.
Yeah, and then if you compare that one to the sketch of the person who killed the couple out walking, it looks like the spitting image. Let me find it.
And also with the cop thing too, I mean, they probably just, even if they had evidence and stuff like that, maybe just, you know, they like plausible deniability. Like they work with this guy, they know this guy, and like,
Yeah, denial kind of thing.
right, and they just would not even comprehend the fact that this is the guy that, you know, is doing all these horrendous crimes because, you know, we go and have a backyard barbecue with him every Tuesday with his wife.
Absolutely.
So it could be that too.
I would say that would make sense. Because you don't want to see, like, what's standing in plain sight, you know?
Exactly. Especially something like that heinous, you know? Like, yeah. I mean, if somebody, like, you knew was doing that, like, you worked with a coworker, and, like, you work with them, they're friendly, and, like, it comes out, yeah. It comes out they're huge rapists. I wouldn't believe it. I mean, maybe a few people I've met in my life, I can be like, okay, yeah, I kind of see that, but especially somebody in law enforcement, because, you know, they're held in a higher regard. I mean, I guess not so much nowadays, but, you know, we like to think that these people with authority have been put through certain scrutiny and, like, they're trusted to be that enforcement of law, but, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how things are now compared to how they were there because they didn't really talk to each other, the different agencies. They didn't have the computer systems up like we do now.
Right. Well, even like somebody said in the chat, I think her name was TS. She was like, that's why I have a gun. If everybody had a gun or something, then like a lot of these wouldn't happen. And it's like, that's true, but this is also a different day. And right. I mean, you can have a gun and still get robbed. I mean, like it happens. Like if somebody sneaks in your window at night and you're asleep, they're gonna get you. Like they can do whatever they want to you. So. And
this guy, he actually went in. He did he had a gun with surveillance, and he went in and emptied the guns, the bullets from the guns.
Well, plus it's not like people have a gun on their waist when they go to sleep.
Right.
Exactly.
That'd be kind of stupid too, you know. Like.
Hey, Gray, I sent you a picture in PM of the cop next to the sketch.
Oh yeah, let's see.
Go take a look. It's like crazy. Because that's the one sketch where he's got a mustache.
I'm still looking for transcripts on those calls.
Oh, great. I haven't had a chance yet.
I tried to find it real quick, but just found one. Ah, crap.
Yeah, more web sleuth type stuff.
Huh.
Can you put that up?
Yeah, it does kind of look like that. So that was him as an officer.
Yep, that's him as an officer.
And he seems like he's a little taller than they said. Because he's 5'11". I thought a lot of people were like 5'9" and stuff. Not that that's a big difference, but...
So he is the suspect sketch in the murder of the... How do you pronounce that? Maggiores? And that the husband of the couple that were out walking, he probably confronted this guy because I think he was also either Navy or military or something.
Yeah, he's so generic looking, That's the problem with him.
There is rumor too that the one he lived with. Which one is that? The oldest daughter?
But he looks so generic that it doesn't matter if you have a sketch with a mustache. I mean, see right there, you look at that and you go, wow, it looks just like him. But that's just because he's got a mustache and he's sort of a thinner person. Like
the only distinguishable part is the mustache. If you were to shave that off,
it's
or even grow a goatee, it would look completely different.
Yeah, he just looks like everybody else. There's absolutely no way
distinguishing features.
And that's makes a lot of serial killers kind of look like that. Just sort of a generic person that could be, they blend in.
Maybe that's why serial killers are so, effective and predominant, because they don't really have any distinguishing features, so they're kind of hard to catch on. At least back in the old day. Not nowadays with DNA, but I don't know. Just a thought.
What are you saying wow to in there, Ada?
Oh, because there's somebody on chat, 009, who knows Misha, his daughter, and she's saying that all of his daughters are in doctorate programs or have completed them.
Yeah, sounds like he's a pretty smart guy.
One that was living with the father, I think, with a child as well, like his grandchild.
Yeah, I mean, the guy wasn't a dummy, That's for sure.
I'm just wondering if, they ever mentioned what he was like, or there's kind of a mystery about his Southern California days, if he actually lived out there, was just traveling back and forth. His wife,
found a website with some
is a lawyer.
transcripts.
Yep.
See, there he is now, right? You put a mustache on that guy, and he doesn't look anything like that, right?
Oh God.
See, that's what they
like you guys were saying earlier. I hope those marks are from the cops roughing him up a little bit.
Yeah.
Slamming his head in the door.
Mm-hmm. Got a little bit of a cone head going on there.
I would. I don't think any other cop would be offended if you did that to him.
The shitty thing is this guy got to live, you got to have the 72 years, basically. That's about when a lot of people they're done anyways, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. You got to live a full life and
Yeah. I think it's cool though how all the sleuth people actually figured out, like, he's either a cop or he they had the cop, or was he a construction, and then what was the other thing? There was three of them. Oh, military. Right?
Yeah. Well, Navy.
Because he could tie all the knots. So he was in all three of those things.
And Vietnam.
That's pretty wild. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying he was in the... So in the military, Navy specifically, you learn about 1,000 different knots, right? Because you got to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and he was and there was another interesting thing. He was a scuba diver, I think. I don't know if that was trained in the military. He...
Maybe he was like a SEAL.
Got it right here.
Well, and that's just kind of funny because Lauren Arts did a video the other day about how cops and law enforcement think that some media or Facebook social people web sleuths can be bad for a case when actually sometimes that's not the case. I mean, it can be bad. There's a lot of gossip and stuff like that online, but I mean, web sleuthers some of them are really good and figured out this stuff before he was caught, and it was pretty much dead on.
Yeah, I actually wrote on that video. I said, look it. I agree with Lorden, and then I made a comment, and he liked it. He thought it was because I made it. I said that hey, listen, there's a lot of the sleuther people, the ones that keep cases alive, so at least the police. If you can get them where people are talking about it again, then police sort of feel obligated. If you just let a case die, it takes some officer that is just really like, oh, okay, God, I got to keep working this. But if you keep it going, and it's still in the media, people are talking about it, there's shows, and there's more pressure, at least.
Exactly.
You know?
Right.
You're just keeping it relevant still, And even if like people are making like gossip and like, I don't agree with like making wild claims or speculations, but I mean, still just, keeping the topic alive and discussion is very important, especially the cold cases indeed, especially, in like, local areas, somebody dies and disappears and it's like a weird mystery. And then you have people over the internet and like Nation talking about it. It does put a fire under, like that jurisdiction to, look into it further and see if like we can, some stones we left unturned and find it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
Well, at the press conference today, they said that they didn't find him by any tip or anything related to any of these specials or anything. And
Well,
look at
let's
what the hell
say
they
if the
screwed up.
daughter did come forward, they would have taken her DNA, and then they would have said, okay, there's familial DNA there, but we need to get his DNA. So they followed him around for a few days until they could get his,
Yeah. I think if they had familial DNA, it would have almost already been enough.
No, but I'm saying if the daughter came forward,
yeah, they would have
6
already
days
been
ago,
enough. They would have already went, oh wow. So your father probably is the guy. Then they would have looked back into, oh my God, so he was the officer that worked there. He got terminated for doing that. Oh, okay, But maybe they just needed it as the last. I mean, even if you had just familial DNA, they would have known that was the guy if she'd come forward. And it's not.
But then they said, well, we still have to get his DNA, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, and then you're going to have an exact match at that point. I wonder if he was smart enough not to, he was conscious about not leaving DNA around.
Because he did have a brother.
Yeah, I was talking about something else, though. Like when he was walking around, I wonder if he was concerned about, leaving a cup in the garbage can or something like that.
Probably not, because they said he was surprised
that's what I was saying, is maybe he just screwed up one time. I wonder if I always felt like he, since I've been looking into it, when I say always, but like that he's, he kind of wants to be caught now, he was old.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, I want to tell my story. It was so great. But it doesn't look like he gave up easily, So maybe he didn't want to get caught.
Maybe he gave up easily and the police, said he was fighting a little bit too much. Now that I'm not seeing his picture on my computer right now, I must say that guy has the most punchable face I've ever seen. Even for an old man. Yeah.
Punching bag.
Oh, God, yeah, look at his face. Do you see it?
Yeah. It definitely looks like something happened there,
Oh, totally. Well, just think, I mean, that's like the face that possibly 13 people last saw before they lived.
Oh my God.
I mean, maybe he didn't even see it. I don't know.
Yeah, because it was covered with a mask except for the eyes and the mouth.
Right.
Or maybe he did show his face.
Right? I mean,
to
you never know. I mean,
killed,
I mean, 50 rapes and 13 murders? It's 63. I mean, that's a lot of crimes. So maybe, sometimes he was a little loose about it. Maybe didn't wear his mask sometimes. Who knows? Especially towards the people he killed.
Right, because there's no one left to talk about it. Well, there was one, I think it was the 86 one, where he almost lost, the fight with this guy, who was killed, the husband or the boyfriend.
Right.
Do you remember which one that was? I don't know.
I don't.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, but I guess they got into some kind of, maybe he got his restraints. He got out of those, or, he just confronted him as soon as he came in the bedroom, and then they fought, I think, in the closet. And then, he might have, pulled his mask off.
Yeah.
Saw him. And then
So he had a.
he did eventually kill the guy, and then he killed the woman, and he didn't rape her in the last one because of that, I think.
Because of that kerfuffle.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I read.
That makes sense. It makes sense that, he might have pulled that mask off and
Mm-hmm. Probably almost overpowered him.
Right.
And then that might also be one of the reasons he decided to give up. I think it was either the last one or the second to the last one.
And you said that was in 86, right?
The last one was in 86. And that was May 86. So yeah, it had to have been the second to the last one because the last one was not a couple. It was an 18-year-old girl.
Was that?
Yeah. The one in
Irvine?
May 86 was this 18-year-old girl who was home alone. And then the July 81... Let me see which one that was. July
27th, 1981?
Yeah.
Okay,
What's
I'm looking
that?
at that. Incident did again.
What are you trying to figure out?
Oh, well, we're just recalling that in either the second to the last murder in Southern Cal, he had an altercation, it seemed like, with the husband or the boyfriend, and maybe he was almost overpowered.
Now, so in 86, he'd be 41 years old.
Okay, yeah, the 86. What couldn't have been the 86 one because that was a single girl, 18.
I wonder if he didn't have the same sort of sexual desires and stuff as he was getting
Maybe
older.
not, because he didn't rape the woman in that second to last one, I don't think.
86, he's 41 years old then, and then he never did anything again, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but not that anybody knows about. 31, 32, just getting going, really.
Yeah. I bet you there's a lot more somewhere else that just seemed random, but it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just seems so weird all of a sudden. Oh, yeah, just one day you're just this. Although I guess you could say, like how you were saying earlier, the Visalia, or however you say that, Visalia ransacker.
Visalia, I guess, or
yeah, those days, like
Visalia ransacker.
See, that's where he started, kind of. But maybe there's even some stuff on the side somewhere else that seemed random. But
there was something known as the early bird rapist. I don't know too much about that.
Yeah, I mean, there was one of the cases where he raped. There was an FBI agent that actually saw him and chased him and had him. I mean, he actually had him. Isn't he the one that got shot too in the stomach or something? Like he turned and.
Well, there was one that got shot
I can't remember.
That might have been a cop.
Yeah, there was one that grabbed him by the fence.
Was a teenager who
well, do you remember when he grabbed the one on the fence?
Yeah, that was a teenager.
Okay.
Like a 17-year-old chased him.
Huh. I wonder why he did that.
And his father and him, saw him in their backyard.
I think the one me and you were talking about was Goleta did in retreat again, July 27th, 1981.
When was it?
July 27th, 1981.
Okay.
So, that was his...
Was that Sherry Domingo and Gregory Sanchez?
Yes.
So what about that one?
That's the one, I believe, where Gregory Sanchez maybe almost, overcame this guy. And they seemed to fight in the closet, and he was able to, DeAngelo was able to shoot him. And he wasn't killed there, but he was injured, and then he staggered over to the bed area, and I think he was killed, shot him again. And then he shot Sherry Domingo.
No, she had been bludgeoned to death.
He bludgeoned to death her, but he didn't rape her, right?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Sorry, it's a lot of...
Yeah,
A lot of
so he
stuff
killed
together.
her right after he killed the boyfriend. And I think there's a witness that says they heard something.
Oh, okay. So Greg Sanchez had been shot once in the cheek and then beaten 24 times on the head. So the shot wasn't fatal, but then he beat him to death.
Okay.
Are you on the Quester files?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's the second to last one
Yeah, I got it.
of his murders.
So then he probably decided, okay, I'm not going to do couples again because this guy almost got me.
So you literally could do an hour. That's what we were saying. Like you could do an hour or more on each incident. Like literally.
Yeah, for sure.
Look how much details in this one specifically.
I know it's a lot of information. Good information.
Yeah, this guy
so
does.
much detail.
This guy did really good. There's also the other site, the Cold Case Iran's attack list, and then they also have the breakdown of each one. I use
and
both
then
of
there's
them.
that podcast that goes into a lot of detail. The Aussie.
Yeah, that one's cool because I think it does go over every single one, right? Like.
Yeah, and it's about an hour for each one they go over.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put this.
So.
I'm gonna put this link in here. This is the attack list in the chat, and then you can actually click on the summary of details to the right of it, and then it does similar to that one. Now they have a little bit of discrepancy sometimes, and I don't really know why. Like what's one attack has a different number and so forth. You know, they just there's all these different people that assign. One's not related to the case, the other is, or something. I don't know why it's like that, but and then on this in that same one, there's also this is what I use too. I'm going to put this also in there for people is the map. So it's the same coldcaseirons.com, but it's actually the map that they used, and it's really cool because then you can look at the attack. And then see where that was, and then I use that to put the pins on Google Earth.
Nice. I'm gonna be right back.
Okay. What about the link to the Aussie podcast? Do you have that?
I don't just have it sitting there, but yeah. So here's the map one. Like you can click on these and it tells you, okay, this is attack 43. Oh, but this one was not. Yeah, maybe this is where they have the problems. Like this one says they don't know if it was ER.
Okay.
So I don't know, but
it's not definitive or whatever, where they don't have DNA.
But what's cool is you actually have all the. Let's see. So you have to hit Control and Zoom. And then you can actually go in and look at all this stuff. Can you see that?
Yeah, that is cool. And then you zoom in further and you can see. Yeah,
and I think they have these, let's see. Yeah, so these other maroon things are like clues and witnesses and stuff. Neighbor sees perp. Hatchet
so a
found.
lot of people saw him, right?
Yeah, look at it. Hatchet found. I mean, my God. Like,
oh, my God.
Perp. Saw the perp. This one said, neighbor sees a white Chevy station wagon with brown wood trim. Yellow pick. I mean, it's so detailed. It's awesome. So basically,
that is cool.
So all of this maroon stuff.
So each little incident, like the people, this one guy came across him going through his tools, taking.
Yeah. You know what I think though? I think we can exclude. You know what I think now? I mean, I know this will bug all the long-termers and everything, but the whole thing about the school, that little article, I wish I had homework text. I think it has nothing to do with it.
Well, they'll be able to either exclude it or include it.
Yeah, but I think you can. I mean, because at the time he was 30-something years old. He wasn't sitting in some 6th grade classroom.
Yeah, or carrying around his old schoolwork.
Right. I mean, the odds of that are pretty low.
And the map thing.
I do that all the time.
I think he grabbed something from one of the houses. He's joking. He's joking. He grabbed it from a house. I think he might have had something from a house. Like he grabbed something, and then he was like, "Oh crap!" and just threw it on the ground.
Yeah, because he was always taking stuff.
Yeah, but he was 32 years
Random.
old. He's not going to have... My 6th grade teacher gave me a lot of disappointment that made me very mad. I mean, maybe he's writing about something that set him off doing what he's doing, but I don't know. You guys might not be aware, but he wrote something on the back of...
Or someone did.
Yeah, that's what they think. They think that he drew this map, and they think that he wrote down this long sort of... well, it's not that long, but something about a teacher. I could read it to you guys if you want, but it says, I'll just do it. It says, I wish I had known what was going... See, it doesn't say known. It says, I wish I had known what was going to be going on during my 6th grade year, the last and worst years of elementary school. Mad is the word that remains in my head about my dreadful year as a 6th grader. My madness was one that was caused by disappointment. I wonder if madness means his craziness. My madness was one that was caused by disappointments that hurt me very much. Disappointments from my teachers, such as field trips that were planned and then canceled. My 6th grade teacher gave me a lot of disappointment that made me very mad and made me built a state of hatred in my heart. No one ever let me down that hard before, and I never hated anyone as much as I did him. Disappointment wasn't the only reason that made me mad in my 6th grade class. Another was getting in trouble at school, especially talking. That's what really bugged me, was writing sentences, those awful sentences that my teacher made. I see, it's kind of crappy writing. Me write hours and hours. I sit and write 50, 100, 150 sentences day and night. I write those dreadful paragraphs which embarrassed me, and more important, it made me ashamed of myself, which in turn, deep down inside me, made me realize that writing sentence wasn't fair. It wasn't fair to me suffer like that. It just wasn't fair to make me sit and write until my bones ached, until my hand felt ever horrid pain and ever had. And as I wrote, I got madder and madder until I cried. I cried because I was ashamed. I cried because I was disgusted. I cried because I was mad. And I cried for myself. Kid who kept on having to write those damn sentences. My angerness from 6th grade will scar my memory for life, and I will be ashamed of my 6th grade year forever. So maybe he was
Jesus
talking...
Christ, those sentences, man.
It does seem like a disturbed human writing that.
Yeah, and it could be a disturbed human that's not a killer.
Right. But it's weird that but so when you read this, it's not like, hey, I'm currently in 6th grade. It's talking about a time in life. So, I guess it does still open the door. Like maybe he's writing about the time that actually put him down the path that he's currently on. Who knows?
Could be right. It has nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
Well, I know this isn't exactly him. We don't know, but I am curious about what type of childhood he had. I mean, do we know any of that information about if he had a bad childhood or anything?
I haven't heard anything.
I think that's all going to come out. It's going to be right. This is going to go on. This right now. Open the door for literally 2 years of almost endlessly daily stuff on this case, because people are going to come out of the woodwork, and they're going to be talking about things. There'll be whole articles on that, and it's just it's kind of cool.
I worked with him, and at the Auburn police. I mean,
just God, it's just crazy.
Thought he was just a normal guy. I didn't think he was raping and murdering people.
You my sugar now.
That's more of a New York accent.
Well, you got to do the Yiddish. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Huh. Well, it's just. I was just I couldn't believe it. Like when I got up this morning, I go into I have these chats with Ada and three other people. Two talk more often than the others. But I mean, but I I saw that and I was kind of rubbing my eyes going, what? And then it was like...
came out of nowhere.
And it was like totally legit. I mean, literally, press conference. I did a live with the press conference.
Yeah, because usually
just,
these things are like false rumors and
yeah, there's bogus. Yeah,
Fake news.
that's right.
yeah, fake news.
It's huge.
And then all of a sudden, there it is. You know, boom. Like a press conference with all the same people that were on all of the specials.
True sleuth. So he just retired, worked 27 years at a grocery distribution center.
Oh,
Sacramento Bee has just confirmed that.
They learn how to tie knots there too, right? All the I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, 27 years ago was when.
Yeah, he was way after.
That's when he decided not to murder anymore.
Yeah, that's way. He was like 1990.
So he wanted to be on the lowdown.
When was his last murder? 87?
86.
So that's 32 years?
Yeah, so...
It's weird, too, though, because it was so far away. Everything else was always within, like, a 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, and then all of a sudden, 5 years later, there's one last murder.
Yeah, and so then he's, let's say they're still in L.A., and, you know, because the second daughter was born in Los Angeles in 86. So then after that, they probably moved to get out of LA after all those murders and went back to Sacramento, and he went under the radar.
Yeah, I think there's going to be more
grocery distribution center.
I think there's definitely going to be more people that he is. I mean, we might not ever know about it, but I think there's a lot more people that he raped or killed somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just
that's,
you know, so
that's the point I was going to bring up too. Is like, how do we know he doesn't? You know, obviously,
a lot of people might not have come forward. Some people might have not come forward.
Well, especially you can't come forward if, like, you know, you're a prostitute, street dweller, and you know, maybe pick some of those up and just put them in the ground.
Yeah, because those are the missing but not missing.
Exactly.
You know, like people aren't aware of them missing; they're just gone.
Serial killers love prostitutes for some reason. I don't know what the deal is.
Long Island serial killer.
There's easy marks. They're just easy to like. They're no like you just said. They're not really missing. Even when they are, right? Like they're just sort of people that and to be honest with you, law enforcement and agencies don't look into those as hard as if it was sort of a upper class or, you know, even middle class normal family somewhere.
Yeah, they're not going to look because they think, oh, well, it's voluntarily missing, you know?
Right, yeah.
Well, especially if, like, you know, you're like a place like California or like those high, you know, homicide areas where, you know, you got like rich white people dying, and then you got, you know, a prostitute that's missing. What are you going to look into more, you know?
And I think 70s and 80s was just like the prime serial killer decades.
Yeah.
Maybe because it was easier.
Just DNA too. Like now, it's like, God, how do I do this without being, you know? I mean, I don't know. It sort of feels like that, right?
Yeah, like how many prolific serial killers are going on right now?
Not as many as back in the 70s and 80s. I can guarantee that.
Yeah. Because it's just not easy to cover your tracks like it was then.
Well, I mean, the thing is, we can't really say not as many. I mean, I see what you're saying. Like, I think back then it was kind of like serial killers just operated in one area because it was easy, and it's like because there was no way to be caught. But now you could have serial killers that know how they would get caught, so do other things. They might kill somebody over there, travel over here, kill somebody, and they're not connected. And he knows,
but they don't leave DNA because otherwise they would connect them.
Right, exactly.
Then they switch up like the modus operandi. You know, make it look like a burglary one time, then like I don't know, it's all you know, switch it up.
Yeah, who was the one that had the kill kit? Remember that one recently that we were kind of not recently, but a year ago.
Who was that? I was thinking of that in my head. I can't remember.
Yeah, that guy where they found the kill kit in his trunk after the prostitute killed him.
Okay, everybody, that's it. I condensed last night's version of the live down into a shorter version because we always go off track when we do them. And I appreciate everybody for showing up. And if you'd like to make sure that you don't miss one of my lives or any of my videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel and then hit that little bell that's next to the subscription button. Okay, so until next time, everybody, be safe out there.